Hello everybody. Mark your calendars, time of death for the command line interface. It's dead. I've just killed it. So what I'm going to show you right now is a web-based, on-demand way to fire up a pyATS job. In this case, my Merlin job for show version. So it's going to connect to our devices, run and parse the show version command, transform it magically into an HTML page in real time with the click of a button. No logging into devices, no running things at the CLI. I'm not spinning up any Docker containers. I'm clicking a button in a web page and I'm getting the network state. You don't believe me? Let's check it out. Here we go. So this is the server over here, and I just have this up because I want to show you the power of this magic button. And I have a button that says show version. Now to show you I'm not cheating, these are the results for today's show version. And you can see that there's, nothing in there. So let's click our button. What's going to happen? Haha! pyATS is running in the background of the server in response to that on-demand button click. It took all of 7 seconds over a VPN, over John's DSL. And then let's take a look. There are the versions. What if something has changed? What if I upload it and want to change it, or I flashed it? Well, let's get the new version again. It just fires up, and I can sit here and let's just refresh this to see how quickly it responds. We don't, there, right away, right 2 or 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds in response to a button click. The show version command parsed into a beautiful HTML page. How was this done? I'm going to make videos. I'm going to make more buttons. There's lots to come. Stay tuned. I want to share this with you, and I'm really excited about what this is going to bring to my project. Thanks again. Stay safe and stay tuned for how this was done in a video I'm going to make and upload overnight. See you tomorrow. All right, now that you're hyped up from the preview, let's look at how this is done and let's try to make a new button. That's going to be fun. So here's sort of the triangle. We have that model view controller sort of point of view. Well, it's sort of this linkage where we need to update our URLs. We need to update our views. And these two sort of intersect in our template. And we're going to see that. So we don't have to update a lot of files. It's not even really that hard. So let's go to the shared screen. And what we're going to do is let's run the full populate database. And then I'll make some more buttons. But right now in my template, I'm sort of ready to go. And let's start with the template. So I have this HTML table, and right here is where I want my button. Sort of like down here and let me give you a reference point, what I'm filling in. That might help. So let's quickly take a look at the server. So what I'm building is what's called like an on-demand is the URL. And, give me 1 second, I'm sorry. Localhost 8000 on-demand. Okay, so we have this OnDemand Center, and we can click show version, and that would run the show version. So I would like to add a button here that says, get everything or get all. And then that will run the populate database, which will run show version, and then learn VLAN, learn VRF, which we will also add as individual buttons. So this gives you a hint. We need an on-demand, a resting page like this. And then we need a page in response to the button click. Okay, so let's take a look at how this is done. I'm going to steal my code here. For sure I'm stealing this. And what this is a button, on click. The location reference is a variable here. But instead of show version, right, this is going to be, I don't know, let's say get all. All right, and then we're going to have get all as our button name. Okay, now what we need now is to reference in this get all. And you can see it's a hint here. It's a URL. So let's go to the URLs. And what you're going to see is in our on-demand, we have our views.button. That's our resting page that I just showed you. Well, let's make an output page. Even though we don't technically have output, we need to make a new page. So let's go ahead and copy this whole line. And let's actually make it first since it's the get all. And instead of show version on demand, let's say get all on demand. And again, what did we call that? This is very important here. Get all. So that is going to be get all. All right, so we've taken care of the HTML, the URL, and now we need views. And we already have our button page view, our resting page. Now we need to make the action. So let's go ahead and, like I could write this or copy it. Let's just go ahead and try to write it so that you can kind of maybe understand. So I have to define, and again, this is very important. What do we call it in our URL here? Get all on demand. Okay, so we need to define that get all on demand as a request. And we're going to use the operating system, and we already have that imported up here, and we're going to run our pyATS job. And I'm not going to type that in. I'm going to steal it from my shortcut here. Okay, and that's the command we want to run. Now I have to return something, and the return says to render that request, and we need to render on demand, right? So let's render that, and I'm just going to take this, there's no reason not to. Let's render that page again, which is actually going to take us to the /output based on our URL. So I believe that's all we need to do. I believe my VPN is connected. It is. And let's watch the server here. Let me quit the server and refire it up just in case we need to do that. And now let's go look at our on-demand. Okay, so the button is not there. Am I getting any errors? No. Oh, because I didn't save the page. That would help. So there's our get all button. Now, these aren't lined up. I might have to deal with the, make these absolute values or something. Cosmetics aside, let's see what happens when we click the button. And I'm really hoping this works. So what should happen over here is the pyATS job to refresh all of the data. And there we go. It's all refreshed. And now how do I prove that? Well, I didn't, I can prove it pretty easily if I go to that localhost 8000. And let's go to learn VLAN. And let's look at today's date. Because this is the first time I would have run learn VLAN today. So 0903. There should be one record in here. Okay, well there's two, one from earlier, but there's the latest record there. I could even maybe flush out all of today's records and prove that this is working if I go to the admin panel and delete those records. Let's do that. So let's go to learn VLANs. Let's go to learn, what was I doing there? Learn VLAN, yeah. And there's a lot of records here. I don't want to delete everything. I just want to delete today's records here. What about learn VRFs? It's the same thing. Like if I go to learn VRF, I think I did run it by accident one time today. So there's actually two sets of records. But hey, well, there's nothing stopping us from running it again. And this will really prove that it's working. So I'm just clicking refresh, refresh, refresh here. And I'll get two new records in here in just a second. There they are. They just appeared at the bottom. So we can refresh the entire database in just a couple of seconds. Isn't that miraculous? So again, we have the triangle. It's not that hard to do. We need the URL, we need the view, and we need to link them together in the HTML template. So now what's next is for me to just keep making the buttons. So I have two more individual functions to finish. I'm going to put a breakpoint here in the video in case you'd like to take a break, and then let's do the other buttons together. All right, thanks. Hey everybody, I just want to add on, there was a slight mistake in the last clip there that I wanted to highlight because it's important and it's an easy mistake to make. So let's highlight the mistake. I've also enhanced this and thought of, how about an OnDemand Center where we just do /OnDemand and we have this nice OnDemand Center. And the other thing is, instead of having the same page when we click the button, let's bring it to a page that says you've clicked the button, it's complete, or give the user, the customer, some feedback that the button has indeed worked. So that's a lot, but let's take a look here. So what I want to point out is, and I'll show you here, and this is where I got it wrong, as well as in a few places in the code. If you remember the last video, I had the URLs here. These URLs all said output. And I've made this mistake a few times. What was happening was every one of these was running the get all because they all were coming from output. So to make them unique, we have to each give them unique folders. And then in our views, we're going to render different HTML pages. And this is a good opportunity for us in our templates. I'll show you what one of these looks like, for us to give feedback to the user. So I'm just saying on the get all results, Merlin has refreshed all records. Make sense? Okay. So now let's go to the OnDemand Center now and show you what this looks like. Go on demand. Well, now we have our 4 buttons to refresh the entire data set or individual commands. Well, let's do something pretty neat. It's a fresh day in the morning. Let's go to show version, and then let's do it by year, month. So that's the month, and today is a new day, so let's go to the 4, and this should be, oh, sorry, right here, 04. Day, month. How come I have results? Something's wrong with my time stamping. Yeah, see, these think they're from today. Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Let's just make note that the last entry is from 6:30 here. And let's go ahead and click a button. So let's get the server up on the side here. We can see this happen. So let's just try show version. And right away here, there it goes. There is our show version. And we should only have one set of yellow here. It should only be writing one time, running one task. So there's show version there, and it's done. And our results here is just the show version. So that's working. And you can see the page has rolled over to this OnDemand Center. Merlin has refreshed show version. Now I should put a hyperlink on this page to take you back to the OnDemand Center. I'll do that real soon. But now let's try, what we're going to do is take a look at the results. And the last timestamp was 12:28, and now it's 12:21. Now I know the timestamps are off. I'm going to blow the database away. It was something to do with when I started that celery scheduling. I did something to the time stamping. So don't worry about that. I will fix the time stamping with the fresh database. I'm not worried about that cosmetically. But let's just take a look here. So it's 12:21 on the show version, and that was by clicking the show version button. Let's click the get all button. So we're going to click this get all button, and let's see what happens with the server. There it goes. It fires up the get all. So now we're going to get VLAN, VRF, and version in one shot. And remember our previous timestamp here. If I refresh, there's our rollover page. If I refresh our results, there is the new set of results. So it's all working. We have a new OnDemand Center. I'm going to put a back button on some of this page here. And I just wanted to share with you that with the URLs, they have to be unique. If you want to run different things per the buttons, you need a different HTML template so that you don't accidentally just call the first button for every button, if that makes sense. I really hope you enjoyed these buttons. I had a lot of fun with this. It started as a simple idea, and I want to reinforce that before I go. Don't dismiss something like in your head, what if I can click a button and run a pyATS job? Now I know I'm simplifying it, but that's where I started. Now I need to learn how to make a button, how to make that button run some Python, right? There's everything flows and comes from planting that simple seed of, like, I didn't think maybe I have an on-demand center with every button and can I click a button and run some pyATS code or a Python script? And I did some research and some homework. I watched my own videos, some YouTube videos. I read some Stack Overflow. I went to some forums. I read about Django. I read about Celery. You have to do some hard work here. But once it all pieces together, you've seen how easy it is to replicate working code and to get a proof of concept like a clickable pyATS button into production. So stay safe. I hope this is inspiring. I'd love to hear your feedback. John_Capobianco on Twitter. AutomateYourNetwork.ca. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can leave a comment here. Reach out. Let's connect. All right. Now stay safe, and I'll see you real soon.